Like how many years you've been in China?
Oh, that's a long, good question. About 15 years, I think, in total. Long time.
Um,
How did I survive?
your life is amazing. You travel to many places and meet different people, and you can adapt to different culture. It's very good, incredible.
Yes, I mean, some cultures are easier to adapt to than others, but I think if you have an open mind and try to understand, and you're curious, I mean, that helps a great deal.
What do you think culture differences between China and Britain?
Well, what one of those is I mean, food, because I mean, you know, as well as any Chinese person, food is an integral part of Chinese life, Chinese society. You know, it's a very, very important part. I like Chinese food a lot. I have no problem with that. I think some things are a little difficult. It's like the breakfast. A lot of it's very tasty, and I'm happy to try lots of different things. But I am in some ways a creature of habit, which means that I like to do certain things the same way. And breakfast for me means breakfast cereal. Cereals. You know, I'm sure your American friends, North American friends will know this. Something in a bowl, cold milk, maybe a little bit of sugar. That's the way, and a nice light meal to start the day. This is perhaps a more superficial about shopping. Chinese people, it's like you must have the designer goods. Like when I went to Philippines, I went with my last girlfriend. We went to so many shopping places during the trip. I was like, well, you know, I want to see sort of cultural things. I want to see sort of Filipino, culture and history and things. Half of the trip was basically for shopping, and I was like, well, why is this? And then, my girlfriend at the time explained that, many Chinese people want to shop. They like, luxury goods, whether it's, Chinese luxury or European or whatever. Is there any sense of there's an expression or a word in English called one-upmanship, which means it's sort of if somebody buys, I mean, okay, you know the Rolex watches, right?
Mm-hmm.
A Rolex. Somebody buys like a gold Rolex and it's $1,000 or something like maybe more. I don't know. Someone else says, "Oh, right, this person has a gold Rolex for $1,000. I'm going to get a platinum Rolex, and it will be $5,000." And then someone else is like, "Oh, I've got to have a platinum Rolex with diamonds in it for
Yeah.
10,000." And it's like always trying to become better and possibly family and the individual. But in Britain, obviously, family is important. In China, traditionally, I think it is much stronger. When I say, where do you hope to study or to live, or where do you want to work? Will you go abroad? A lot of my friends, these former pupils, will say that they may go abroad for a year or 2 years or something, but later on they'll return to China. Sometimes it's because they just miss China, but many times I've heard, well, because my parents want me to go back, or they want me to live nearer to them, or to work in a city that's not very far away. And so this feeling, this duty, seems very, very powerful. The connection there to family. Whereas, like for me, been abroad. I've lived abroad for many years, and I live where I want to live. I work where I want to live, and because it's my life. Of course, I consider my parents, what they think, what they feel, but essentially, it's my life, and I didn't have the choice to be here, to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I should have the choice to live the way I want to live, and where I want to live, and how I want to live.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I think that's quite a big difference, Chinese and Westerns.
There are two main reasons. First is in China, the health system for seniors
Hmm.
is not very advanced.
Yeah,
So
sophisticated, man. Yeah.
older people, they really need help
Hmm.
from their,
Yeah, children, yeah,
yeah. So
grandchildren, so on. Yeah.
mhm. The second is because Chinese parents spend so much time and money on their children. So
Mm.
they may have the expectation for their children to give back.
About older people, and the older generation. One thing I noticed in particular when I was in Beijing, is on my way to school, when I walked to school, you have these 小区, the estates, the blocks of flats. I'm not quite sure what it would be like in Britain. I think neighbors probably wouldn't speak to each other, or they might do, but it's not an essential part of life. They may never meet their neighbors, because it's this sense of the private, one's private life. Like when I was at school, when I my dorm room, the foreign teacher has a private room, one person, to each room, whereas the Chinese pupils or students at university, you have 2 or 4, maybe 6 people in the same room.
Mhm.
And what I saw on my way to school is that you have quite a lot of these elderly people, and they would be outside, playing like chess, or doing some exercise, or talking, or in the sunshine, and just talking to each other. I hear a lot about the mental health, how desperately lonely a lot of elderly British people can be, that they're stuck in their homes. They don't meet anyone, speak to anyone. They're basically just watching the TV a lot. They may have some of their own hobbies, but a lot of elderly people are just watching TV. That is their company. You see people going out doing the tai chi, tai chi chuan,
Yeah.
together. And they're fit and they're healthy, in mind and in body. They're physically and mentally fit and strong, and you see them walking around, going, morning exercise, going for a daily walk in the morning, and it just seems a lot healthier, a lot more positive.
Mm.
That's, and maybe this is a reason why a lot of Chinese people live such a long lives. It's just my point. There's that community spirit,
Mm.
which I think is really healthy, really positive. That people come down from their flats, their apartments, and they meet people out in public, in the public square. And I think it's a big difference. That's, say that there doesn't seem to be the same kind of loneliness and sadness. But I think because we have the welfare state here, because the health service, in the National Health Service in Britain, because we have nursing homes, care homes for elderly people. So in this situation, I think that Chinese society has a very wonderful way of dealing with old age. One thing that I think is a big problem for many people of any nationality, any country, it's the tendency to think that our way is best. We need to learn from each other instead of thinking, you know, our culture is better than yours, or we do this better than you. It's like, well, okay, we can, you know, be a bit more humble.